You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show. Yes, you're listening to the Finnish Football Show. I'm Mark Wiltshire, and today I'm joined by Keke and Rich. Hi, Keke.
Terve.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. It's been a while. We've had a few holidays and stuff. That's I think all of us have been in Finland at some point, all five of us. But yeah, unfortunately not together this time.
I think there might have been a few days with Ali, all of Ali's back and forwards, where all of us were in the same landmass, but five completely different towns, and I don't think anyone managed to hook up really. I think Rich and Ali actually in the same stadium for a game as well, but sort of different parts of the stadium, or they were very close anyway.
Other ends of the ground.
Yeah,
rivals for 90 minutes.
Exactly, but it's good to be back. It's about a month actually. I think we worked out before the show. Feels like longer. But you and Rich got together at the end of July, and I Zoom bombed you for a few minutes with a very croaky voice, having come back from watching Ashley course. So I think if we get this show on the road and make it an official part of the show. There's the referee's whistle, and just a few shout outs. I think first of all, number one has to be our good friend Farid, who got married in August, and we sent a little message on Facebook which he saw, but just wanted to say congratulations to Farid and Mrs. Farid. Well done, my friend. Good luck to you.
Yeah, echo that. Onneksi olkoon, Farid. So, fantastic news. All the best for the future.
We've also got a couple of listeners that have moved to Finland. They're deserting the septic isle of Brexit land like rats deserting a sinking ship. And I'd like to throw out the hand of welcome to Jamie Murphy and to Keith de Littler, who have both emigrated to Finland in the last, let's say, 2 months or so. I've met with Keith before he moved actually, and Jamie and I kept missing each other, trying to connect before he came over here. But both of you guys know how to reach out to me, so if there's anything I can help with, them, feel free to ask the question. And then you had someone, Keke, chasing us for our slow publishing schedule over the summer.
I did, yeah. I got a nice message come through on Instagram from a listener called Magnet Airless. So I think it's based in the Netherlands, but got a message on there saying, "When's the next show coming? Hurry up and get your act together." So I had to explain that we hadn't disappeared for good. We were just on our summer holidays, and we'll be back soon. And so hopefully, Magnet, this will pop into your podcast player, and you'll hear that little message. So thanks for getting in touch, and here we are.
Yeah, it's good to hear from people. It's nice to know that someone's listening and that we're not just doing this for our own benefit. So thanks, Magnet. It's good to hear from you. I thought, Keke, we could start today, because there's been a few weeks since the last show, and bring back the old news feature. And Mark Hayton's not with us today, so there'll be nothing dropping in at the last minute. I'm sure we've got this agenda all tied down.
You say that.
Yes, Keke's scrolling through his phone trying to find something to derail the show before it starts. But there was this story that came yesterday, and this actually, my stepson Dopius told me about this. He's been watching the football with me on TV for a couple of years now, quite closely, and spends a lot of time following it now, and has started also coming to Ashley games, which is terrific. He's not quite feeling brave enough to join the Cloppet with me and his mum and make the noise. But he sits over to the side, and I think he actually watches the game, which is a lot more than can be said for me. But Toppy has brought to my attention the story about the restructuring of the Finnish league in 2024. So I dug into that a little bit, and let's explain what's happening at the moment. The league is structured in 5 divisions of 12, basically, so 60 teams, and there's a Veikkausliiga at the top, then Ykkönen, and then 3 regional Kakkonen divisions, A, B, and C. The plan is for 2024 that the Veikkausliiga will remain with 12 teams, but between Ykkönen and the 3 Kakkonen divisions, they're going to put in a new division. Now, this is going to throw out the naming, because you can't go from one to the 1.5 division or something. That's one of the details that's still to be confirmed. But basically, there will be 3 national or nationwide divisions before you then get to those regional divisions. And the numbers in some of those leagues will be changing as well. So Veikkausliiga will be 12, then Ykkönen will be 10.
10, yeah.
Then this new division will be 12, and then the 3 Kakkonen divisions will be 10.
That's it. That's how I read it.
Yeah, and so there'll be, instead of 60, there'll be 64 teams. So that gives some opportunity for some clubs that are currently sort of just outside of the league system as we know it to. I mean, obviously after Kakkonen you have Kolmonen and Nelonen, and it goes all the way down. The pyramid goes deep in Finland, but it gets quite amateur quite quickly. So some of those teams will be coming up into this new Kakkonen, whatever it is. So there's 64 teams instead of 60, and there was some talk about there being too much churn in the teams from Ykkönen, because 3 could go down and 2 could go up. So that's like 40 odd percent of the division. The one question I've got, and I don't have an answer yet, is by cutting the number of teams, how do you reduce the churn? But there's at the moment there's no details about how promotion and relegation will work. So I think we'll just have to sit there scratching our heads at the moment and wait and see what comes.
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke to Rich about it, I'm sure he's got if he joins us, I'm sure he's got some insight. But yeah, I mean, he was saying the idea behind it was to make the leagues more competitive, So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's some finer details to be worked out. Yeah, not least the naming strategy. I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. Yeah, 1.5 division.
You're right, because there's going to be essentially 2 teams dropping out of what is now Ykkönen into this new division, and then 10 teams from the current 3 Kakkonen divisions going up. So maybe I guess the stronger teams will be those that will be selected from the top of those 3 divisions into this new one, and the aim of making it more competitive makes sense. I still think it's a bit odd that the division in the middle's only got 10 teams in it. That doesn't quite compute for me. If you're increasing the league to 64, why not make it 66 and keep those 3 top divisions with 12? Yeah. But it's a quibble, and I'm sure we will be enlightened at some stage in the future.
Just touching on not quite breaking news, but just touching on the lower leagues. Friend of the show and former Hawkeye defensive defender, whatever you want to call it, Marcus Halsti will be plying his trade in Kolmonen next season. He's signed for I don't know how to pronounce that. Sexy Poksut, is it?
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so they announced that via their Instagram and Twitter feed today, I think it was, and so yeah, that'll be interesting. Marcus obviously wants to keep going and keep getting out there on the pitch. So good luck to him.
So coming from someone myself that played football twice this summer for the first time in 8 years, I can highly recommend keeping going as long as you possibly can, because it's not easy to restart again,
No,
that's for
that's it.
sure. Keke, carrying on with the news, why don't you talk us through the Women's World Cup qualifiers? We're kind of in the middle of the last two games for the Helmarit, but they played last night against the Republic of Ireland.
They did. They did. I mean, to be perfectly honest, yeah, the chance to qualify is all but gone now. I mean, well, yeah, it's gone with that defeat in Ireland. Helmarit lost 1-0 in Ireland. I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, mate, I thought the girls played well. I mean, I know it's weird to say after a loss, but yeah, I thought they played well. We got a new manager. Marco Salorante has taken control after Anne Signal sort of scurried off or departed after the Euros. So yeah, I mean, it was a Finland played a good game. Some really neat passing. Some of the girls had some really good games. To be honest with you, the goal that ended up being the winner on, I think it was about 55 minutes, was a bit of a shocker. Free kick sort of floated in. Tinney sort of came for it and misjudged it, and yeah, the Irish girl sort of nodded a looping header into the net. But yeah, I mean, Finland kept going, kept attacking, and they did everything but score. Really, it was a real shame. But yeah, they play Sweden. I think it's on Tuesday. Ratina in Tampere there. So there's bundles of tickets been sold, and yeah, I mean it has turned into a bit of an exhibition match. But yeah, Nordic rivalry and the old big brother or big sister complex, whatever you want to call it. So I'm sure the girls will still give it their all and try and get a bit of pride back and see what they can do against the old neighbour there. But yeah, Sweden are a class act as well. So we'll see what happens. But honestly, mate, I watched the game and I watched a bit of it back, and I was really gutted, really, because there was some great passing movement. I mean, yeah, I don't want to name too many names because I'll end up missing someone out. But yeah, Ria Erling had a fantastic game, threading balls through. Emma Koivisto had a really great game. She was doing her usual up and down the wing, doing a bit in defence, but getting up and attacking as well. Eli Pikku-Jamsa, before she was subbed, she was strong and playing well. She came off in the second half as Jenny Danielsson was introduced, and Sunny Francie had also came on in the second half, and Finland went even more direct after that, and really, honestly, looked the better side. I mean, but yeah, this the only stat that matters is the goals for and against, I suppose.
It was a real 6-pointer as well yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because if Finland had won, they'd be on 13 points and Republic of Ireland on 11, and there'd still be something to play for going into that Sweden game. But as it is now, Republic of Ireland are in second place on 14, Finland are third on 10, and there's no way of getting past Ireland with just one game to go. So you're right, it does take a little bit. It would have been really spicy to go into that Sweden game really needing the points, and it's a shame that that's not going to happen. But from what you're saying, it seems like there's still optimism for the future.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think obviously there's going to be a little transition period with a new manager coming in, but I think you could already see a bit more forward attacking play from the girls. So yeah, let's hope for a bit more of that.
Yeah, and these are World Cup qualifiers being played in 2023. So I guess then after that we start looking at qualifiers for the next Euros, and hopefully the world's football calendar stays on track and these events take place every other year like they're supposed to.
Indeed, yeah.
We also had this week some Suomen Cup semi-final results, and they ended with FC Lahti 0, KuPS 1, and HIFK 2, Inter 3. So we've got a final on the 17th of September at the Olympia Stadium, which is interesting because that's a big old stadium for the Suomen Cup final.
It is, but KuPS and Inter, obviously both sides, sets of fans will have to travel. But yeah, I'm hoping, I'm hopeful that the wider football community pitches up, and not necessarily if you're fans of those sides, but the wider football fan community pitches up and buys a ticket and fills up the Olympia Stadium for what could be a show, what is a showpiece final. We spoke about the restructure of the Suomen Cup and that, and it's I think it's been exciting this season. It's going back to the semi-finals. There, you were saying it was the one thing that was sort of keeping Hoy, of course, season alive. Really, it was that the hope of a final spot. But yeah, they've bowed out at the semi-final stage. But KuPS Inter, that'll be a decent one. Obviously, Rich will be he'll be happy. He'll be watching that.
Yeah, and the tickets are reasonably priced as well. There's the adult price is 25, but most other tickets are €10, and then if you have this Peli Passi, which I haven't noticed before in the ticket sales, but Peli Passi, the price is half that, so the prices start at €5 for the Suomen Cup semi-final. So hopefully that will encourage enough people down there, because what you want really, whether you're watching at home or if you're at the game, is to see a nice juicy crowd there.
That's it, full stadium. That's what we want.
So in the blog post that comes out with this, whether you're watching or listening, just look down a little bit and you'll see a link to the blog post, and I've got all the kind of links to the stories that we're talking about, and there's a link there to where you can get tickets for the Suomen Cup final as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next section. We wanted to look at the Finnish teams in Europe. The last time that you and Rich were here, and I said earlier that I joined you briefly during the call. ASUK were in the middle of their second. The two games of their second round fixture. So let's just give a little sort of summary of what happened in Europe. So in the Conference League, Inter Turku were eliminated in the first round by Drita from Kosovo. SJK Seinäjoki were eliminated in the second round by Lillestrøm from Norway. I'll come back to that in a minute. And KuPS Skopje were eliminated in the third round by Young Boys from Switzerland. So none of the Finnish teams managed to get through into the group stage. And I think it's quite. I mean, KuPS got a bit of a bashing over two legs. I think they went down 5-0 on aggregate in the end. Actually, Rich is just joining us. Just when we're talking
he can
about,
tell us all about it.
Rich, are you there, and are you able to talk about KuPS in Europe?
A little bit. Stand by. Hello.
We can hear you loud and clear, and we can't see you. It's almost the best way.
Perfect.
Yeah, face for radio.
Yeah, we were literally just saying that about KuPS getting through to the third round of the Conference League, but getting a bit of a pasting in the final game against Young Boys. What were your thoughts as a diehard KuPS fan?
I think it was disappointing. The speculation around Simo Valakari around the time of the first leg really overshadowed the tie. He was linked with the vacant Motherwell job, I think the day before the game, and then that evening had to make a big statement. And I mean, you kind of look at Young Boys; they're doing well in the Swiss league, who are historically certainly above Finland in those stakes anyway. And KuPS gave it their all. Annoyingly, the home game was in Turku, so 5-6 hour drive away for a home match, and Young Boys turned up and really just bossed it. They didn't really get out of second or third gear, and yeah, it's unfortunate because then they went to the away leg, and I think at that point Young Boys were resting players, and it was all just say men against young boys, quite frankly. But Yeah, it's a shame because I mean, last year KuPS got to the playoff round, so the round after this. But yeah, I mean, it was the luck of the draw really that they're drawing decent level opposition at that level of the competition, and there's no trapdoor from the third round of the Conference League.
I tell you what, for me, what I realised with ASICOR qualifying this time for the first time in 6 years or whatever is almost every team in every European competition is bigger than we are. And you know, we played against Tallinn. It's like, okay, that's probably quite even. And you know, we got beaten over there. I wasn't able to watch that game easily online. But the home game, oh, it was just chaos. They had 2 men sent off, and we turned around the defeat over there to win 4-3 on aggregate, and it was very exciting. And then we got Lillestrøm, and you know, they're a team that I recognise the name of, and it suddenly it's a bit daunting. And they came over here and we lost, but we put in a good performance, and then went away to Lillestrøm and got a kick in, really, got a 5-2 defeat, but actually played pretty well for a couple of large chunks of that game. But this other team was more clinical. And then I think in the next round they went on to play Bruges or Anderlecht or someone like that. And then it's like, whoa, hold on, that's proper football, proper football clubs, and with a real heritage. And that's only the third qualifying round of the third level of international football. It made you think, wow, we got a long way ahead of us. And then you see, then you start seeing the Champions League draws and some of the sides in there, and just think, wow, it really is a different league.
Yeah, but then you see Victoria Pilsen, who knocked Hoyikor out. They're in a group with was it Barcelona, Inter, and Bayern Munich, I believe it is. You know, so again, you know, they outclassed Hoyikor in the second leg of that round, but yeah, they've gone through to that in 3 massive games.
Yeah, they are massive games. I'm not sure beating Hoyikor over 2 legs prepares you for any of those 6 fixtures they've got ahead of them.
Well, the thing is, Hoyikor were probably the better team in the first leg, and unfortunate to lose. And then they went to the second leg and were absolutely destroyed.
Mm.
But you talk about, you know, I mean, that is an amazing achievement for that Victoria Pilsen to get into the Champions League. But then you look what happened to Hoyikor after that. They managed to get their act together, and they dropped down into the Europa League qualifiers. They played Maribor, who themselves have featured in the Champions League in recent history, you know, and yeah, Hoyikor managed to get past them over 2 legs. And yeah, and then they had in their final qualifier, they played the Silkeborg, I think it was, wasn't it? And yeah, and managed to defeat them and qualify for the group stage of the second tier of European competition themselves. So, you know, fair play, good on Hoyikor. A couple of amazing, well, four amazing results there, really.
Yeah, and they've got themselves a tasty looking group as well, haven't they, in the Europa League? So they've been put into Group C with Roma, Ludogorets, and Real Betis.
I mean,
yeah, it's a big draw, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's what they wanted. I think that was the issue last year. Was in the Conference League, the draw they got. I think the top seeds were Lask from Austria, so they didn't get their payday. I think Roma were one of the potential draws there. So they've got, you know, one of the big European sides, you know, the holders of the Conference League.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And rolling into town with Jose Mourinho.
yeah.
You've also got Betis, who are, you know, a big team in Spain, and Ludogorets, who I think they won the Bulgarian league a while ago, and Tiro Mantala played there, I think, for a couple of years when they played in the Champions League. I think they played Liverpool once, but
that's what I was going to say. They've got a real European pedigree, haven't they? It's not of winning, but certainly competing in those competitions. So I said to some of my ASICOR friends that it would be nice to have a Finnish team in the European group stage to follow, and I got roundly shouted down that if we're not in it, then there's no one to follow. So I was put right in my place. I said the Finnish football show is a broader church than you lot.
Yeah, that's
we will follow.
I mean, it was it was pretty funny. Some of the Buri guys were they were online as the result came in for the 1-1 in the final game against Silkeborgs that saw Hoyikor qualify, and they were doing like an Instagram live and watching it, and the comments that came in at the end were mostly pretty abusive to Hoyikor, but then with a postscript that said, well, good for Finnish football, like we're yeah,
really begrudging.
We effing hate them, but we're glad that someone's qualified. Do you know what I mean? So
increase that financial gap.
Yeah, but yeah, it was pretty funny. But talking about finances, Rich, I mean, anyone hoping to see, especially that Roma game, they needed to be quick on the button, didn't they?
Well, yeah, because I mean they obviously made the tickets available as priority to season ticket holders, but then I think and Ali tried to get tickets, didn't he, for certainly the Roma game, and they went like hotcakes. And I mean Hoyikor early said we are not moving to the Olympia Stadium, we're going to play at the Bolt Arena, and so obviously if they played Roma, Arsenal, Man United, something like that, they would have been there. And yeah, I'm not sure how quickly the tickets went, but they kept them reasonably priced as well. They didn't milk the fans. They're going to get so much money from this European run and really extend that gap in the spreadsheet league table that they don't, for the sake of fleecing people for an extra €10 each. What's the point? They're going to have a full house for all 3 games.
And as well as having a full house, do we think that the idea is to keep it in a smaller stadium on the artificial pitch rather than the nicer Olympia Stadium?
No,
home advantage, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were having the conversation last night at home about how different Satu and I are knee deep in Ted Lasso at the moment, and there was a conversation about how every pitch is not the same size, and I was explaining that to her that that there are minimum and maximum dimensions, and she said, that's not fair. I said, no, that's home advantage. That's the point of having your own home ground that you're used to. And, maybe that's what Hoyikor are going for.
Rich will be reminiscing about Highbury with its tiny little pitch in a minute. But yeah, definitely. I mean, keeping it at the Bolt Arena is it's got to be advantageous for them. I mean, I personally, I'm right behind it. I'm glad that they obviously, if they'd have gone to the Olympia Stadium, they'd have been able to squeeze a few more people in. But you're going to have the hardcore in there. All the season ticket holders have managed to get their tickets, and it's going to make it a real cauldron for any. I mean, any team that turns up there. Roma are obviously used to playing in a giant big bowl multi-purpose Olympic stadium, you know what I mean? And they're going to turn up to this tiny little cauldron, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Hoyikor can do a Bodo Glimt on them.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I think we've been going almost halfway, Keke. So how about if we just have a little break? The referee's blown for half time, and let's do a little bit of shilling. And why not, in honor of Hoyikor, just show through the T Public shop, the Finnish Football Show merch store, where we've got all these shirts in team colors, so you can support the Finnish Football Show and support your local team. And there's a nice HJK shirt there with our logo running all the way through it. And these are very limited edition, in so much as we don't make them they're not printed until you buy them. So if no one buys one, then they're limited to a run of 0. So, if you're a Hoyikor fan and want to get in there, then get yourself one of these. I mostly wear my Asicor one to the games now, and next season there'll be a new design. I've already got something in mind, and I think we've shown these before, but there's many different styles of. Oh, there it is on a white background.
Gosh.
Yeah, indeed. Rich, are you still there?
Just about.
Yes.
Would you like to tell people a little bit about buymeacoffee.com?
Yeah, it's a nice little treat for the for us, really. It's I mean, we spend it on beer, but it's yeah. I mean, again, running the podcast and the website and Twitters and Instagrams and all that costs a few quid, and we had some very generous support over the last few years, including our friend Yusso, who said I should put mine towards buying a new telly. But yeah, no, it's been yeah, buy me a coffee. The links are on the website, and yeah, all support is gratefully received, and we'll give you a nice little shout out on the show, as some of our fans know.
Did you, Rich, ever get yourself a new TV after all that talk?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Still waiting because the kids are young enough that they might still break the current one, and it's 12 years old. You know, it's vintage.
Still, yeah. Is it colour?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't get Channel 5.
Probably for the best. Probably not missing much. Okay, let's crack on with the second half and look at the Veikkausliiga. Now, it's been a while since we covered Veikkausliiga in much detail, and I always include a screen grab of the results in the blog post, and realize that there's 50 odd results since the beginning of July until today. So we're not going to go through all of those, but maybe let's look at where we are in the league table. So most teams have played 20 games. Honka and Haka have played 21. And as things sit at the moment, we've got KuPS and HJK at the top of the table on 43 points. Then Honka on 41. Then there's a bit of a gap to Haka on 34. Inter and Asikor 5th and 6th on 28 points. And Oulu on 26. They've just dropped out of the top half for the first time probably for the first time this season, really. They've been bobbing around 4th or 5th for a while. So there's 2 games to go, and there is a bit of a scrap there for, I guess, those 3 teams. Ilves might think, well, no, Ilves have got a bit of work to do if they want to get into the top half. But
Ilves are away to KuPS this weekend,
so they're not going to get any points there, are they, Rich?
I hope not.
I mean,
but just a reminder that the top 6, the table splits after the next 2 games, and the top 6 then play against each other one more time, and the bottom 6 play against each other one more time. But there's no, whoever's 7th can't then jump up into 6th place, even if they have more points than the 6th place team.
The 7th team can get in the European playoffs.
Right. Okay.
So there is that incentive, because there's European playoffs are back this year. They stopped it for 2 years. But the team that comes 7th can enter the European playoffs at the expense of the team that comes 6th.
Weird.
Do you want, Rich? Do you want to just explain that in a little bit more detail for me?
Yeah. So obviously the Finnish teams get a certain allocation of European places. The champions go to the Champions League. Finland get 3 qualification spots in the Conference League. One of those goes to the winner of the Suomen Cup. One of those goes to the team that comes 2nd, and then the other place goes to teams. So the teams that finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th play off, and the winner of that little tournament gets the 3rd European place.
Okay.
But obviously, if KuPS win the Suomen Cup, that placing changes slightly.
Yeah.
They're playing Inter in the final next month, in a couple of weeks. So, but essentially, if you come top of the relegation group, you are the tallest midget, and you get a chance to play in that European playoff that I think we only had it for 1 year, and then we had COVID. So
I think that's why I'd kind of forgotten about it, to be honest, because you're right, it came in and then went away again. So it's good that this is why I love this show. I kind of set it all up and organize it, and then let the people who know stuff come and tell me what I need to know about Finnish football. It's great.
I mean, since the last time we spoke, the old league table's taken a bit more of a familiar look. You know, it was quite exciting when we were last together. You know, Honka were at the top of the table there. AC Oulu were doing great things, and I mean, Honka they're still scoring goals, but they've had, I mean, they lost to Haka yesterday. They had their own 2-2 with AC Oulu, and so the top of the table's taken a bit more of a regular look to it. But I was
Well,
all
you've got
for Honka.
Yeah, because you've got Honka play Hoik on the final day next week. So one of them will take points off the other or the draw. So obviously it's good for KuPS. But yeah, and this is the thing: the way that that split works is that the teams that are first and second at the end of the regular season will play on the final day of the championship group. So last year we had a title decider between KuPS and Hoiko, and there were 8,000 or something stupid at KuPS. And KuPS just drew their way into second place. But it was, that was a massive thing because bear in mind, let's be honest, we're probably not going to get a Stad in Derby now for a number of years if Hoy, of course, finances go to pot. But yeah, at least if we have, a title decider like we did last year, that was massive for the league. It was on, I think it was on free-to-air TV as well. So it's worked out well. And Honka, they've been a revelation this year. Really, I don't think anyone saw that coming, and hopefully they can keep most of that team together next year.
And didn't one of you say the other day that their attendances have had a significant uptick, probably based on this form?
Yeah, I think
like
the
1,000%, or something.
Well, the first game of the season, I think they had 340 fans at the opening home game of the season, and in the game, I think it was the game against Hoyivkor, they had over 3,000. So almost a 10 times increase. I don't know what the attendance was when they played all over the weekend, but again, you'd think a Saturday afternoon is probably quite decent. But yeah, I think that's the thing with Honka for a couple of years. I think that the management or the ownership of the club has been a bit iffy. It's quite like it's being run as a going concern. But the fact is now they've brought a lot of young players through, which is what Honka have done in the past. But they've got some good foreign players and they've blended quite well. And I saw them play at KuPS last month, and the second half of that game they were really, really good and gave KuPS a fright, and probably deserve to win, to be honest. But they do have a tendency to concede goals and drops points when they should be winning them. So really, if a more experienced team with that forward line should be top by quite some way.
Talking of attendances, am I reading correctly that Ilves against Hako had 5,700 people watching?
Yeah. It's sort of a derby, isn't it?
It is sort of a derby, but tomorrow, Seinäjoki against Vasa is very much a derby, and I'd be surprised if there's 3,000 there, let alone nearly 6. That's quite impressive.
Yes, it's nice to see. It's good to see the attendances going up. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show, like with Honka putting that run together, people are they're getting bums on seats. So it's a good thing.
So
I'll tell you one thing. Sorry, I'll tell you one thing about the league. I wish our mate Mark Hayton was here because he always laments FC Lahti always mid-table, and but not this year, mate. They're lucky that Helsinki IFK are doing so badly because our poor old FC Lahti, they're just one spot off the bottom there.
Yeah, that's true, and the way, well, Mariehamn are not no great shakes either, are they? And after Seinäjoki beat Vasa tomorrow, they'll be still down in trouble as well. But and of course we have 2 games plus 5 to go, so there's still quite a lot of points to play for. But Lahti could be in that relegation playoff position. I'm just gonna check where we're at with the Ukkonen division. So, I mean, it's looking fairly clear that KTP and TPS will be 1 and 2. It just depends which position which one is in, and whoever comes second will play whoever's second bottom in.
That's changed as well.
How is it now?
There's now a similar like European type playoffs in Ukkonen.
There is.
So
sorry, I see that now.
2, 3, 4, and 5 playoff in various stages just to drag it out for the right to play probably Lahti.
Yeah.
So basically the table, so the Ukkonen table splits, and so top 6 and bottom 6, and whoever finishes 6th has nothing to do. But then the 2, 3, and 4. Did you say?
I think it's 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right. Okay. I don't know how you keep a track of all this stuff, Rich.
Yeah, because I tweeted something about it and I got it wrong. So being a Finnish man, of course, rowed to my rescue and corrected me in the least patronising way possible.
Very good. That's always always good to be put straight. We're and I lost my train of thought. Any other comments on Veikkausliiga? Any other news from Veikkausliiga that you want to throw into the mix?
Sorry. I was just going to say, we do have a Stadion derby coming up. I think it's on Monday, isn't it, Rich?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, Monday. So there is a Stadion derby coming up. So yeah, as you say, mate, it might be the last one for a while. So anyone who's there in Helsinki, get your tickets and go along and see the both sets of fans in action. I'm not really fussed about what happens on the pitch, but it's nice to see what displays the both sets of fans put together for this standout fixture. And hopefully there's another one not too far away. But yeah, we'll have to see about it.
Yeah, and last week actually we talked about Oulu. One of the reasons why they've dropped out of the top six is because their win against Inter last month was overturned. It was a little bit of a shady one. They won 1-0, and the result was turned to a 3-0 defeat because they didn't have enough homegrown players in their matchday squad. Now I think they tried to reason that Rafinha, who's 40 and has been in Finland for donkeys, I think they tried to claim that because he was in Finland before the rule was implemented, therefore it did not apply to him. And I know there was some discussion with Asicor about how Chris Cleaver was once in a similar position, and I think at the time the rule wasn't clear, whereas now it is. So they lost 3 points. Inter got 3 points and have now popped up in their place. So it's made it a little bit weird, but Oulu's squad is very much a League of Nations these days. And that game, I think, as well, they signed this English striker who was once on the books of Palace. He scored once for Palace about 10 years ago. He got sent off on his debut for a pretty dodgy 2-footed tackle. And then they confirmed this week they've extended his contract to the end of the season.
Was somebody mentioning the Chris Cleaver situation and trying to get 3 points off of Asicor this year? Because I wouldn't be standing for that. That sounds a bit rum.
Any excuse.
Yeah, no, actually, when that game was played, friend of the show, Larry, mentioned this thing about homegrown players, and when Oulu won, it was advantageous for us that Inter didn't have those points, so we all sort of said, keep quiet. And within minutes of the game finishing, he said, "It's all over Twitter. The game's up. They're definitely going to lose those points." So that is what happened. So any interesting upcoming fixtures? We mentioned the Stadion derby. We mentioned the Pohjanmaa derby, and Asicor for this game is another of these Super Lauantai, Super Saturday events where after the game there will be a concert in the yard outside the stadium on this massive great stage. And tomorrow we will be treated to the punk rock noise of chlamydia.
Oh, a burning sensation there.
They are. Yeah, quite. I mean, it's one of the most horrible band names around. And then you see kids wearing chlamydia t-shirts. It's Finnish punk rock. Yeah. What can you say?
Good marketing.
So by Sunday the 11th, so just a week and a half's time, we will have the last Veikkausliiga games of the main season. Then the table splits, and that's being played on Sunday. All the games on the Sunday because HJK have got their European games, which they'll be playing on Thursdays. So. Okay, very, very good. If there's nothing else, then let's just have a little look forward towards the Nations League.
Yes. So the Finland have got Romania at home on Friday the 23rd of September, and then Montenegro away on the following, is it the Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Keke and I have already not on here, but talked beforehand about this, and I'm going down to with my brand new Pohjois-Karre scarf.
Man.
And I had a very nice coffee and a chat with Jussi from Asamiko during the summer.
Top man.
Is someone else who should have had a shout out. Hi, Jussi. Thanks for meeting up with us. Because he had a holiday up here, and so we decided to meet up for a coffee.
Nice.
And there ends the anecdote. It's not one of my best. But yeah, we're heading down there on the Friday for the Romania game, and Keke, you're heading over to Montenegro.
I am, yes. I'm going, despite Wizz Air trying to put paid to my best laid plans and cancel my flights and rearrange them and all that. I'm at this moment still going with Wizz Air to Podgorica, the former Tito grad, in Montenegro. So I've just instead of being there for 3 days, I'm now there for a week. So I shall be soaking up the sights and the sounds of Montenegro and downtown Podgorica for a week.
Mrs. Keke is delighted with that.
Mama.
Yeah. So watch this space. Should be fun. There's a few of us. Anyone who's got any brains is flying to Dubrovnik and staying in the seaside resort of Kotor, I think it's called. But I've not got any brains, so I'm going straight to Titograd. Yes.
And what awaits you there?
I think it's just Soviet-style bunkers and industry, I think.
I'm sure you find a nice park or something.
Yeah. No, we'll be all right.
So let's look back at the last games against these two sides. At home, Finland beat Montenegro 2-0.
Yep.
And then went away, because this is where we have 4 games in like 12 days or something.
Yeah.
It was full on, wasn't it, for them and for us trying to keep up with that schedule. And then went away to Romania and lost 1-0 in quite sort of, if I remember it, quite sort of tepid performance.
Lackluster circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a weird one. I mean, we spoke about it at length at the time, but it did kind of feel I think we moved on to Bosnia after that, didn't we? And it did feel like there was, like you say, the schedule was what it was. And so there was an awful lot of squad rotation. I mean, Joronen played, Radetzky played, so they're swapping them around with the goalkeepers. We played however many different centre backs and all that, and there was a fair amount of squad rotation. I suppose that was as down to the scheduling, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we've spoke loads of times about how much we like the Nations League and all that, but I think this season just needs to be put to bed, and maybe River used it as a bit of an experiment, or maybe wasn't quite prepared to take that next step and push for promotion. Rich?
It's a shame, really, because I mean that was on paper a winnable group for Finland, and I think with the Euro qualifiers coming, I think the draw is October, I think, for the next round of qualification for Euro 2024. So obviously, if Finland have won that group, they would have guaranteed themselves at least a playoff. I mean, that may work. They may still get one depending on other results, but it would have been nice. And I think, like we said, even Pukki was the only player who started all 4 games, and Poyan Palo scored those 2 goals against Montenegro. But it'd be interesting to see. I think a lot of players have been either on the move, had changes in form and fitness over that time. We're talking 3.5 months. The squad's being named, I think it's the 14th of September. So the moves will have settled, and we've talked before about Poyan Palo now in Italy with Yesin and Nicky Mayenpa at Venezia. But it's I think now it's just a case finish on a bit of a high, because when that draw is made for the next round of qualifiers that are going to be played all throughout next year, it's going to be pretty full on, and Finland are going to have to do well to get in the top two, because it'll be top two guaranteed from those groups. And again, you know, one of the reasons we like the Nations League is because in the first iteration, Finland did well, which gave them the momentum to qualify for Euro 2020 automatically as it was. And this time round, that momentum's not there. There's been such a change that we're not really sure if Rive knows a lot. I mean, he knows a lot of the first choice players, but there's a lot of doubts at wing back and perhaps that kind of number 8 position as well in attacking midfield, where he seems to flip a little bit. So it'd be nice to get, you know, some good results from these last 2 games and go into next year really thinking, right, this is what we do now.
I mean, without being about scaremongering, that, you know, a win against Romania and we're safe in this group, lose against Romania and it's looking dicey before the Montenegro game. We beat them in the earlier game, Montenegro, but they've since then won 2, okay, both against Romania, and drawn with Bosnia-Herzegovina. So winning against Romania sort of secures a place in this, but also gives a platform then to potentially beat Montenegro and finish second. And then looking just at the stats of the table, it's not a bad performance. So I think we've said before, if you're only finishing second in this group, then, you know, maybe it's best to stay in this group until you're ready to really go for it. So yeah, the Romania game is a big one. Any there's not been a squad announced yet, I realise, but any particular player news around the hook yet recently?
Probably Palo is the big move, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the big news. Obviously, as Rich said, he's I think, what was it, Rich? Did he have 7 or 10 years or something?
It was 9 years at Leverkusen. He had 5 loans, and I think he played 22 games for Leverkusen in that 9 years.
Yeah, scoring 7 goals or something.
7 goals. I think one of them was a hat trick in about 3 minutes.
That's it.
But I mean, as Mark Hayton said in our WhatsApp, you know, he's had such bad luck with injuries, and when he's been fit and he's been at the club, he has had a chance. It's just that those 22 games have been so dragged out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a kind of a case that what could have been had things gone differently, because when he did play for him, he did quite well. And when he played on loan, he did quite well. And hopefully this permanent move now with other Finns there and everything will work. But yeah, it's a shame it's Serie B. I think he wanted to stay in Germany, but I mean, the only rumour was Cologne and they denied any knowledge. So off he goes.
Yep.
But Venezia...
Speaking of Leverkusen...
Sorry, go on.
Speaking of Leverkusen, Radetzky signed a new contract.
Yeah.
There for till, is it 2026?
26, yep.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that Venezia are competitive, aren't they, at the top of Serie B? Or have been.
And they got a playoff place last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny division, Serie B. Like there's people nicking points all over the place. But yeah, they would be one of the sides who were considering themselves to be sort of the top end. Yeah, definitely. And remarkable kits as well. So
he's going to look stylish when he's out there on the pitch. That's for sure.
That's it. I mean, he's not started too bad. He got an assist on his I don't know if it was his second game, I think it was, or first game. Yeah, got himself an assist, and kicked off all right there. So good luck to Yole.
So now we're just waiting to see that squad announced and see if there are any surprises, but probably not expecting too much change from what we've had recently.
No, I mean, barring any pullouts for injuries or anything like that. I mean, obviously you got the players based in the US. See what happens there. Whether they're called up or whether they choose to travel or whatever. But yeah, I think we can expect a pretty standard squad from River for these two.
So I guess we will be back sometime just after. You might have to interrupt your holiday in Podgorica,
yeah,
Keke, to come and talk to us about that.
Of course.
I'll try and well, I will be at the Romania game, and I'll try and remember it. I'll try and do something while I'm down there as well.
Good man.
So, but if not, then we get together after those two games, and
Yeah.
listener, keep following the various members of the team for information about the Finland national team ahead of those games, and of course, for, tidbits of information about the final stages of the Veikkausliiga season. Keke.
I just wanted to say, before Rich joined us, we were chatting about the Helmarit game last night, and I don't know if he's I don't know if his half Irish side is feeling any joy at that 1-0 win, or is he commiserating like the rest of us with the Helmarit?
It's a bad one, isn't it? Because obviously Ireland had an Irish. Their goalkeeper was called Brosnan, and we were hoping the score would be 007, but it's a shame it didn't work out that way. But yeah, I kept that bit quiet.
Yeah, I mean, but before we do go, I just want to wish the Helmarit the best of luck against Sweden. It's going to be a tough game, but yeah, hopefully they can put on a show for the people who are making their way down to Tampere there.
Yeah, seconded. But I reckon, gents, that just about wraps up this episode. Thanks to my co-hosts for joining me. Rich, goodbye.
Yeah.
Keke, goodbye.
Hey there.
And listener, thanks for listening. Until the next episode of the show, goodbye. You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and on Instagram. See the links in the episode description below. You can also connect with the 4 hosts on Twitter, at Explore Finland, at FC Suomi, at Escape to Suomi, at Keke Mulen. Links to the Finnish Football Show merch stores are also in the episode description.